Once upon a time, there was a small country called Norway, a country rich in nature and biodiversity, the home of polar bears, salmon, northern lights, fjords, brown cheese, and the midnight sun. A role model for democracy, where quality of living ranked as one of the highest in the world. This thanks to a well-functioning welfare system. Educational healthcare was close to free, and 99% of all power production came from the sustainable hydropower. A fairy tale of a place. So why then did a group of organizations file a lawsuit against the Norwegian government in 2016? What on earth could possibly go wrong in paradise? In 2014, the Norwegian constitution was amended to further the environmental law from 1992. Act 112. Part of this act states that every person has a right to an environment that is conducive to health and to a natural environment whose productivity and diversity are maintained. Natural resources should be managed on the basis of comprehensive long-term considerations, whereby this right will be safeguarded for the future generations as well. This law has been described by Norwegian environmentalists as the most beautiful law in the world. It adds color to the painting that we have already made of this fabled land in the north. A country that wants to protect its citizens and its biodiversity, as well as secure a livable habitat for future generations. It seems as our fairy tale continues. Or maybe not so much. The painting is an oil painting. The once poor country struck black gold in the 1960s and has since developed itself into one of the richest countries in the world, fueling an obsession with development and energy sufficiency through dependency on oil. The lives that we lead today, the comfort and illusion of freedom, come as a result of that fateful day more than 50 years ago. Now, Norway has separation anxiety. Our oil dependency casts a dark shadow on sustainability. Oil extraction directly endangers the environment through externalities from extraction, refinement, shipping, and use. Externalities such as greenhouse gases contribute to global warming. Our global ecosystem is complex, and we cannot know what the environmental costs from new oil extraction and use will be. Hence, we need to adopt the precautionary principle and limit our use of oil and other fossil fuels. Despite this, in 2016, the Norwegian government opened up for new concessional rounds to explore for more oil in the Barents Sea. This is the first time in 20 years concessions have been given out in this area. This was happening at the same time as Norway was signing the Paris Agreement. The main goal in the Paris Agreement is to not surpass the 2 degrees Celsius mark. If we are not to go beyond this, scientists say that we will have to keep oil in the ground. So, when a national government puts profit over people and let corporate interests determine the future, what does that say about how elected representatives prioritize the security of citizens? Further so, what does it say about the prioritization of the citizens themselves? Who are going to protect the environment over corporate interests and individual self-maximization? In comes civil society and youth activists. Greenpeace and Nature and Youth, together with other supporting organizations, are currently filing a lawsuit against the Norwegian government for breaking Act 112. They argue that the environmental impact of the concessional rounds will fail to secure a healthy and livable environment for future generations. All in all, they claim that the government is abandoning its responsibility to protect the environment. Therefore, the concessional rounds are in dispute with Act 112, and citizens see no other way than to use the judiciary system to force the government to go back on their decision. Hoping that this lawsuit can set precedents for future governmental decisions, as well as mobilize an opposition and advocate the needs for alternative energy sources and lifestyles. The fate of the Barents Sea and the environment at large have yet not been sealed. However, The case does pose the question, where has energy democracy taken us when citizens must take their government to court in order for them to secure a living environment against the backdrop of economic development? Who is it that we're securing the environment and the energy sources for? The Norwegian government should have both economic means, intellectual resources, and social political will to look for alternative energy sources. They should be leading the way and aid the transition from an oil-dependent society to one which rejuvenates social democratic values such as solidarity. It is time for the Norwegian government to write the end of our story. Could our fairy tale have a happily ever after for future generations, or will we allow it to be devoured by our oil dependency?